It's easy to spend a lot of money on an expensive robot vacuum. Robots like the Narwhal Frio Z Ultra, the dreame X40 Ultra are ultra expensive, and they can lead to you being ultra broke.
But Eric, what if you still want a robot vacuum that has most of the performance and most of the features, but for a lot less money?
Today, I'm giving you recommendations for robots that don't require a second mortgage, but will still do a good job on pet hair.
Now we're gonna be going from the most to least expensive, and some of these robots we actually purchased and some were sent to us for review, but nobody has paid us.
And I've lived with all of these robots for a number of months in my home, so these are our honest opinions. The dreame X40 Ultra is one of my favorite high-end robots because it has good suction, it has a mop that extends to baseboards and gets into corners. It has great obstacle avoidance, it washes the mop with hot water, and then afterwards it dries it with hot air, and it also auto-empties the dust canister.
Now it's great, but it's nearly $2,000. The Ecovacs Deebot N30 Omni launched at 1/3 the price of the dreame, and it has nearly all the features.
Now it's a mopping robot, but it's got a trick. The mop extends out to the side, so it'll get along baseboards, table legs, chair legs, and it'll get up really close to them. And this is a feature that you typically only find in much more expensive robots.
When we dried some soy sauce and sent the N30 in to clean it, it cleaned up the mess with almost zero residue left behind at all. It also auto washes the mop pads and dries them with hot air.
It has 10,000 pascals of suction, and it picks up really well on hardwood, and it also has good performance on carpets too.
But what are you giving up?
My dignity. So obstacle avoidance is pretty good, but it doesn't have a camera. So navigation is fine, but when you're avoiding things like power cords, shoes with shoelaces, you should just clean those up from your home first because it's just not gonna do as good a job as the Flagship robots.
That does sound pretty good, but what if I want a robot that doesn't have Omni in the name?
Well, in that case, you're out of luck. You see, the problem is the next one I'm gonna recommend is the eufy X10 Omni. And here's the thing, robot manufacturers, please come up with different names because it's very confusing. But if you got a messy home, you got pets, you got stuff on the floor all the time, if you're basically just a slob like us, this is the robot for you because the obstacle avoidance is one of the best I've tested of any robot at any price in 2024. And that is amazing for a robot that is a really good deal right now.
Oh, so you mean it's the GOAT? Now it has both camera and LiDAR, which used to be found only in the most expensive robots. But with its AI technology, it can avoid most of the stuff in your home, even cables a lot of the time. It can recognize over 100 objects, and it's still one of the best performers in our obstacle avoidance test at any price point.
That sounds good, but what about mopping?
I'll tell you. It has dual rotating mop pads that are 5-sided, and it's very effective with dried coffee stains. But Eric, does it have hot water mop washing?
No, it doesn't, but it actually still does wash the mops, and it dries them with hot air, which means it's gonna help eliminate odors that build up from bacteria. It also has 8,000 pascals of suction, so that's pretty good with basic dirt pickup on hard surfaces. And it's an okay performer on carpets, but it's not quite as good as the Deebot N30 Omni that has more suction. And since it was released in early 2024, you can find really good discounts on it right now, and overall, it is a really good robot for the money. Now before we get to the next robot, there's actually a surprise. Our most highly recommended robot is gonna be at the end of the video, so stick around for that.
But let's get serious for a second. No more jokes. What if you really don't want another robot back with the name Omni in it?
I got you, bro.
Sorry, that made me laugh.
I'm talking about the Roborock Q5 Max Plus with no Omni in the name at all. If you're broke, but you want to tell your friends you got a personal robot at home, the Roborock Q5 Plus Max is perfect. Let me tell you why. It doesn't mop, but it's a very, very good sweeper, and the base station makes it super low maintenance. Now the robot on screen is a slightly older version, but the Max Plus has dual rubber brush rolls, so hair pickup is really good, and it also means it's really anti-tangle. It picks up hair from hard surfaces and carpets very effectively. And it has 5,500 pascals of suction. Now that is nowhere near as high as the Flagship robots, but wait till we tell you about how inexpensive this is. I think this is a really good robot if you got a lot of hard surfaces in your house, and mopping is just not a priority.
So what are the downsides?
Well, as I mentioned, it doesn't mop, and the base station is a little bit loud, especially when it's emptying, and when the robot is moving around the room, it is not as quiet as some of the others. But on the plus side, it does have a 2.5 liter dust bag, which means you can go about 6-7 weeks without having to empty it. But there is one other thing that you should know. That is, navigation is okay, the app is pretty good, but if you got cables lying around your house, this is probably not the best robot for you. In fact, it loves cables a lot. It loves to intertangle itself with the cables. So if you got a lot of cables like we do, you might want to look at something else, or just clean up the cables and save a few bucks. So the Roborock brand, I think, is really well respected. It's been around for a long time. I think this is going to be a really good robot. And right now on Amazon, I've seen it for under $300.
What? So if you really want a new robot vacuum, the ones we mentioned in this video are a great value for the money. But if you're somebody that really wants the features of a champagne flagship robot vacuum, but you have a Pabst Blue Ribbon budget, you can simply wait till that new flagship comes out and those ones go down in price.
But we promised the best vacuum in this whole comparison. I present you the Sweepin' Robot. It also has mopping technology too.
Eric, how much did you pay for that?
I paid $3.99, and it even has stare detection technology. But as we're getting into Black Friday and the holiday specials, you can find a lot of these robots, especially the flagship ones, for a really good price. And there's another amazing robot vacuum right here.